Hi, and welcome to the Virginian Review podcast for this week. I'm Mark Pifer, sports editor of the Virginian Review, and with me is members of the Covington Cougar football team. To my far right is Noah Fertig. Beside him, Tyler Dressler, and the coach of the Cougars is Rod Tenney. And first, Coach, let's talk about last Friday night. A rainstorm kind of delayed things, and then a very, very exciting game. The Cougars pull out a 2019 win over Bath County. And Coach, we've talked a couple times since then. It was a game of momentum swings. The first half, you seem to be able to do things, at will, get a 14-0 lead. And in the second half, they make a play, get a punt return, and suddenly it was a big momentum swing.
Yeah, the first big pass that they made resulted in momentum swinging. They got about 42 yards on one pass play, and momentum shifted their way. They had a couple kids that really turned it up a notch, and defensive end made it really hard for us to do anything to that side, and we've been having success running there. So momentum is a big part of high school football.
You get the ball back, there's 5:45 left, you get the ball at your own 38, and it was a night where the field was in not so good condition with the rain, and but it's kind of ironic that two big pass plays are what turned the tide. You're a third and 5 situation, and Tyler hits Noah, and we talked about that play, and Noah kind of makes something out of nothing. Later on, you convert another third down, Noah with a 3-yard run, and then the play to end it with 49 seconds left, the screen pass from Noah to Tyler. Talk about that drive, what your mindset was as a coach. Time wasn't a factor at first, but then you got down and there's 49 seconds left. You got to make a play on that third down. Talk about the whole sequence and the big plays that these two guys made.
Well, we had talked in practice last week about the way they were covering. One of the linebackers was turning and running. And we talked about how wall out the pass we ran to Noah was going to be there and going to be successful. Well, 3rd and 5 we ran and there was nothing there at all. Tyler had a man hanging on him, and he made a great individual effort to get rid of the football. And then Noah had absolutely nothing, but he danced around a little bit and found some daylight and turned nothing into a 22-yard game. And that was a huge part of the victory. Same thing on the last pass. Tyler had a man go with him. Noah laid the ball up a little bit, and Tyler ran under it. So just I mentioned before, refusal to be denied, and that's what leadership's all about. So I was real proud of it.
And you also talked about a big guy that was out in front on that play, on the touchdown play.
Adam Tingler made a great block to free Tyler up and let him get into the end zone. And we watched it on film, it was even better block than I thought it was. So great individual efforts by several people.
Noah, you and Tyler have kind of a thing going on with this single wing. It's kind of unique that both of you run the ball, both of you throw the ball, both of you catch the ball. So it's kind of different. Talk about how comfortable maybe you are in this single wing now. You've been a part of it now for I guess 3-4 years. Talk about how comfortable you are with it, and tell me about the play, the where you made something out of nothing and get that big first down. That's a huge play, and maybe a season saver for you guys.
Well, with single wing, we've been running it ever since second year of JV, really. And then just working on expanding it. It's really not the traditional single wing. We've kind of modernized it a little bit. So
you never know who's going to get the ball either. I can get it, he can get it, I can run it, he can run it, I can throw it, he can throw it. So it's great.
And I love being able to, out of offense, pass, catch, and just something I think I can do well with all 3 aspects of it. But now one the play, the 22-yard game, the end came around, and I tried to hit him a little bit just to give Tyler a little bit more time. And I could, look back and I saw about 3 on Tyler. He just dumped it off, and then after that it was saw a guy and just made like a little cut, and then we just went from there. See what I had to do to get the first down. Really.
Tyler, then you get down, and now the time's running, and the coach calls for this screen. And tell me about that play and maybe what made that successful.
Well, it was a gutsy call, and it was a good call, I believe so. And we tried to play beforehand, but we had a little bit of pressure in the ball, and I ended up slipping on that play. So the plan was we're going to come back to it later in the game. So and we ended up doing it, and Noah waited the perfect amount of time, and I got open. And like you said, Adam Tingler made that great block, and then it was just to the races from there.
Tyler had 194 yards rushing. And Tyler, you're probably known more for power running, but it had to feel good there in that first half. You get out on the edge and outrace some people down the line. Been working on that speed?
Yes, sir. Hard work in the off season for sure.
Coach, these two, this is kind of the age of specialization. Everybody's talking about, to be a football player at the next level. You don't play basketball, you don't play baseball. We got to focus on football. These two guys are kind of the opposite. I know Noah played 4 sports last year because he played golf while he played football, basketball, baseball. Tyler last year, a football player, and then basketball, and then wrestled and played baseball. So, especially at a small school like Covington, the specialization, I guess, is good. But, these guys are proven that, you can have success and play and enjoy your high school life and enjoy sports.
Well, first and foremost, you got to have fun doing what you're doing. You got to love it. And from experience with these two guys, I feel like they love what they're doing. And they get a different skill set from each sport. You play man-to-man. In basketball, it's the same thing as covering a man on a pass. And so certain skill sets will translate from one sport to another. And Tyler's definitely used that cowboy in wrestling. He's definitely using that on the football field.
Talk about playing 4 sports. I know you didn't play golf this year, but you kind of, I think Coach Bennett kind of needed somebody last year, so you kind of filled a spot and played a little bit of golf. But tell me, what's the sport maybe you enjoy the most, and talk about your high school career is kind of winding down, but talk about the different sports.
I mean, I just love anything with the ball, just playing anything. I love, from being little, played everything, from golf, basketball, baseball, football, loved it all. But I don't know, with golf, it's something, I just did for fun, just want to start playing with my family and stuff. And then when, he said he needed a guy, something. But yeah, it was kind of bad playing with my little brother, him being better than me. That's why I didn't really stick with it. But I think my favorite sport is probably basketball. I'd say that's been my first love for since I can remember. But going with baseball is something I think I'm really good at too. So I love just anything with a ball really.
Tyler, I think you've been playing these 3 sports for a long time, and last year you got the wrestling bug. I know your dad, Steve, was a wrestling coach and a very good wrestler way back when he was in school. Talk about your 3 sports, and then adding wrestling last year as something as a second option in the winter.
Yeah, well, it's tough. You got to put school first, and then after school, you have sports, and then to be good at the sports, you got to be in the weight room. So it's very time consuming. But for wrestling, since I was a kid, I remember Dad. I was traveling with him. Me and Derek were out on the mat wrestling around and just having a blast. Baseball. We've traveled everywhere. I played with a bunch of the Allegheny kids, and we were a big team. And even some of the kids from Bath County. We had our travel team for USSSA, and we would just go over the place and play. And basketball, same thing. I remember growing up with Noah, playing against each other, playing with each other. All-Stars, playing against Bath, playing against Allegheny. It's the same group of kids. We're always playing against each other. And football, for sure, it's my favorite sport. I'm living up to the legacy. I got to live up to Derek for sure. He's got the full ride at Concord. My dad and then my uncle, they played at Virginia Tech. So I hope to follow in their footsteps one day.
Rod, quickly talk about this Friday, going up to Craig County, and it's a place where you're familiar with, you coach there. And we talked the other day about the challenges up there, and they're down in numbers. And talk about Craig, and certainly coaching up there, and even coaching at Bath. You've been around the Pioneer District for a long time. Talk about some of the memories it brings back, and maybe what the challenges you guys face on Friday.
Well, one of the challenges you face at Craig that's different than here, it's a very rural area, and a lot of parents are working during the practices over. It's hard to get kids transported to and from practice, and when they have to travel a long ways, a lot of the transportation issues keep kids from playing. I was coaching over there one year and had 18 kids to start the season. We ended up 5-5. We had 18 gutsy kids. And one game against Fort Chiswell, we only had 13 players ready to play. And had 5 kids out injured.
Cut down on your coaching decisions on who to play.
Absolutely, and all you have to do is look and see that you have 2 on the sidelines, and they're facing some of that right now. They've got 16, as far as I understand, they have 16 right now. So it's difficult to do that. It's difficult to practice, but we're facing some of that right now. Also, we've had 21 or 22 due to injuries. It's difficult to practice full whenever you don't have 2 full teams out there. So
I guess you have Craig and then an off week. And then 2 big games back-to-back, James River, Perry McClure. Look ahead to those games a little bit. You got the new Jacob Phillips regime at James River, and then Perry McClure has really turned their program around. Coach Kraft has done an excellent job over there, and those guys, they lost their big running back Ryan Dawson from last year, but it doesn't seem like they've missed a beat, with only 1 loss this year.
Right. I've known Mike Kraft for years, and he's a great man, and he's a great football coach, and he went back to the old ways of Perry McClure, and they've had great success, just like they had years ago. They don't try and outthink you or anything. They line up and tell you where they're going and dare you to stop it. And they got a little bit of the swagger back, and it's the Perry McClure Bowl. So Mike has done a wonderful job over there, and I've seen on film James River a couple times, and Jacob's doing a great job with that program too. Kids are playing very hard, very physical. And I know part of that has to do with the weight room. He made commitment to the weight room when he was first hired, so the weight room is showing up in their play.
And quickly to wrap up, but speaking of the weight room, and I as a girls basketball coach have kind of committed this year to getting my kids in the weight room a little bit more. We talked about Glenford. We talked about their football team and the heavy commitment they've made in the weight room. Winning a state championship last year, very well on their way to back-to-back, unbeaten this year. And the commitment to the high school athlete is in any sport now. You can't just pick it up on the day that trials start.
Well,
we talk about being in the weight room, and we've talked about Glenborough football and the commitment they've made in the weight room of getting stronger, and it shows on their line. State championship and unbeaten again this year. And talk about the commitment it takes, and the days of coming out on the first day of trials are over. You basically have to work. High school athlete has to work year round.
Well, I made a comment to you when we talked about this earlier that when you shook hands with the Glenborough team, you could tell the commitment. Just the tree trunks where the arms are supposed to be. They're just obviously working very hard in the weight room, and it's paying off, and the dividends are having on the field. And we've had times where we've had people committed to that, and we have a few people that are. Tyler's a gym rat. He's in the weight room all the time, and it shows in his play. So you have to make a commitment if you want to be an excellent athlete at the high school level or at any level. You've got to make a commitment and work very hard at it.
Schedule for this Friday night, the Covington Cougars will be up the road in Newcastle to take on Craig County. Huge game down in Mountaineer Field as playoff hopes for the Mountaineers on the line. They play Stanton River. Both teams are at 4-3. Bath County with the week off. Looking ahead to volleyball next week on Tuesday night. All 3 area teams, make that 2 area teams are away. Covington at Perry McClure, Allegheny at Stanton River. Bath County will host James River. And then Thursday night, all 3 area volleyball teams are at home. Bath County hosting Perry McClure, Covington hosting Craig, and Allegheny hosting William Byrd. Shout out to Noah Burns from Bath County, senior golfer. Finished 23rd in the state this past Monday and Tuesday. Congratulations to Noah. And a shout out to the Allegheny cross country team. The boys won a title at the Concord Invitational at Pipe Sim State Park on Saturday. Until next week, I'm Mark Pifer. Thanks to Noah Fertig, Tyler Dressler, and Rod Tenney. At Virginian Sports, follow me on Twitter, Nightly Scores, and pick up a copy of the Virginian Review. Have a good week. We'll see you next week.